Hello, Year 7, and welcome back to another Computer Fundamentals lesson. This lesson, we're going to be recapping hardware. So, in this lesson, we are going to look at what is meant by hardware, and we are going to gain an understanding of different types of hardware in a computer system. So, what is hardware? Hardware is a physical part of a computer system or electronic device. So a computer system, things like your PCs, your laptops, that sort of thing. An electronic device could be anything else. Cameras, phones, you name it. It's electric and it has hardware in it. It is an electronic device. So we are going to look at some examples of hardware in a computer, and then you can apply all these to your task on the FOG later on. So first one, the processor. The processor is basically where the computer carries out all of its tasks. It's like the brain. It's like your brain, if you like. If we go back to last lesson, when we looked at IPO, which stands for Input Process Output, you might notice that process sounds very similar to processor. That's because the processor is what carries out the instructions in a computer. Similarly to you, if I was to ask you a question, your brain or your processor thinks about that question and outputs it through the mouth. Yeah. So the input is me asking a question. Your brain or processor thinks about that question, and you come up with the answer, and that's the output. A power supply, pretty self-explanatory, looks similar to this half the time, and they just pump electric around a computer to make it work. Without power, computer will not work. Simples. RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory, and all that does is it stores all the current tasks that are being carried out. So if you're on TikTok, if you're playing Fortnite, whatever you're doing, it's all stored in the RAM. And as soon as you turn that computer off or your phone off or whatever it is off, all the data is gone. It's lost forever. All right. ROM stands for read-only memory, and that's stuff that can't be changed. So you cannot change anything on there. It doesn't delete, and you just can't change it at all. And ROM, it just stores instructions for booting up a computer. So as soon as you turn on a computer or you turn on your phone, it does all these things in the background to make it load up. All right. So if you turn your phone on, the ROM does its job, loads up your operating system. That's things like Android, Windows, iOS, that sort of thing. It loads it all up and boots it up. And when you turn that off, obviously it doesn't lose the data. Otherwise, your phone, when you turn it on, would not load at all, would it? Wouldn't work. 3 more. Case, pretty self-explanatory again. It just holds everything together. All right. Imagine a computer without a case. There would be bits all over the place. It would be a bit unorganized, wouldn't it? The motherboard, and that all that does is there's a picture here of it, example of one. It sends instructions to different parts of a computer. It's also known as a circuit board. So if you think of a motherboard as your own parents or your carers, and you imagine what they do, they give you instructions and say, you do this, you do that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And that's what motherboard does. It tells all the components what to do, just like your parents or your carers tell you what to do, or your teachers at school. Hard disk, is where all your data is saved. So your pictures or your videos or your apps are all stored in that location. On the FOG, you will have some work assigned to you. Your task is to complete the work on the FOG and upload it.